Hey, Win. All right. So it looks like I'm now live on YouTube and Instagram. I wouldn't recommend watching on both platforms. That might be a little hectic. But yeah, wow. Hi. Oh my gosh. Uh, hey, Virgin. Um, yeah. So first of all, thank you all so much for joining. As people continue to filter in, really means a lot to me that you're sharing this with me. It's okay. Yeah, so this has been a pretty crazy experience. I'm just going to say a few things about the album as people are filtering in, and then if you have any questions about it, we could do that. I also could play one of the tunes for you that you haven't heard yet, if that would be something interesting. But yeah, so this album has been, thanks, Patrick. This album has been a tremendous amount of work. A few quick statistics: 13 tracks, over 4,100 words of lyrics, 10 musicians total, myself included, that participated in laying down tracks for this. So, first of all, big thank you to Jeremy Tolsky, Rachel Ostrowski, Isabella Scotti, Camille Shu, Eric McDavid, Arshish Arun, Luke Davies, Tim McKay, and Zakria Bashir Hill, who also co-produced this whole thing with me. Seriously, would not have been possible without you guys. So yeah, thank you all so much. Yeah, and so this is a collection of songs written over the past 4 years, basically. So a lot of them are pretty new, but some of them go back to 2016, 2017. So it's quite a substantial snapshot of my life right now, I suppose. And yeah, it's really been a humbling experience to watch this all come together. Obviously, huge thank you to Zach for kind of getting the ball rolling on this whole thing. He asked me this spring if I wanted to produce an album this summer, and if you'd asked me last year if this was going to happen, I never would have thought it would. So it's really incredible to see this come to fruition after so many hours and days and weeks and months of working on it. Oh, thanks for it. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, I'm on both of the chats, so YouTube or Instagram, take your pick. If anybody wants to know anything, really. Hope everyone's doing okay. I know that everything's kind of ridiculous right now, so hopefully this provides a little bit of, at the very least, distraction from the insanity of the world right now. Yeah. Thanks for the hype, Jack. Thomas, how to be cool like Andrew? Oh gosh, I don't think I'm qualified to answer that. It's a very flattering question. Well, you got to start by unicycling and playing the trombone and yeah, all that cool stuff. Playing chess. Hey, Emily, what's up? Yeah, so just all about the power. Um, can I unicycle on my trombone? Zach asks. That's one way to say that he's here. No, I can't unicycle on my trombone. That would ruin it. Okay, sorry. What is my favorite track I've made? Okay, so this will make more sense when y'all can actually hear these, but definitely the most fun track to record was a tune called Daffodil, which you should all listen to later tonight because it's just a ton of fun. If anybody's familiar with Jacob Collier, kind of a niche name, but also kind of a big name in that little niche community of the music scene right now. Very heavily inspired off of his style, really. Yeah, so I had a ton of fun with that one. Just really big vocal stacks, and I got to record a bunch of crazy stuff. And yeah, it was just like I was smiling the whole time I was doing it. So that was really great. Patrick asks, how do I be as clean as Andrew dates? Oh, shower at least once a week, I guess. Bray wants to know if we'll get more raps, but he doesn't want to spoil it. Well, that's fair. You'll just have to wait and see. Emily says, I could unicycle on my trombone if I weren't a coward. Do you mean play trombone on my unicycle? I feel like the other way around is harder. more destructive. Who's to say, really? Man, this is phenomenal. It's 15 people on Instagram right now. There's like 14 more. Can I when can I juggle before the album drops? You know, yes, I could. I don't really have anything to juggle here. The problem is if I leave, people will join and then see a blank wall, and then they'll bail. Um, no, but he said please. He asked so nicely. Oh gosh. Okay, how about this win? The last 5 minutes I will juggle. I promise. You gotta stick around. Hey, what's up, Taylor? My cousins joined the chat. What inspired me? Oh man. I think each song, well, this might seem like an obvious answer, it might not, I don't know. But each song definitely has a very real place in my heart. So when I write, Zach's just giving me a brilliant idea. I'll get to that in a second. When I write, for me, it's very, very important that the lyrics are strong. I take a lot of time. I usually try to do as much of the lyrical stuff up front as I can. And I really, really, really want to polish that and make sure that it is conveying what I want it to convey as concisely, as powerfully as possible. And so in terms of my inspiration, it really depends on each tune. The name of the album is Heartache, What Else? Sort of a satirical play on the fact that so many songs are very heartachy, but I think there's a reason for that, right? Like if you're trying to express some kind of emotion that just words or maybe even just music can't do on its own, songwriting, at least for me, was one way that I discovered years ago to sort of cope with those really heavy emotions. And so different songs are about different people. It again depended on what I was going through at the time. Mainly it was just my general philosophy is that if I'm feeling something that is kind of too much to keep within me and I can't really express it any other way, then I turn to songwriting because I can kind of combine these different dimensions together. And what the words can say on their own might not be exactly the same as what the music can say on its own, but if you put them together, you can get more than the sum of their parts. Very long-winded answer for that, Taylor. Follow up, which musicians inspired me? That is a tremendous question. Oh gosh. I think I mentioned Jacob Collier. He was big for at least a few of the tunes. I'm a huge Stevie Wonder fan. I think that he is an incredible example of doing an awful lot with relatively little musically, which, I mean, you might disagree with that listening to Stevie Wonder songs, but in my opinion, he's very good at making simple things really catchy, which is something that I aspire to do, or at least attempt. Okay, I need to go back and catch some of these. Which song has my favorite lyrics and which line is my favorite? Oh my goodness. That is a tremendously loaded question. Man, I wish I had a concise answer for you. Oh boy. Well, I mean, this might seem a bit of a narcissistic answer, but I guess like I mentioned before, lyrics are one of the most important things to me when I'm writing. So it's tough for me to choose because I mean, I genuinely put so much time into every song lyrically. So I don't know that I have one clear favorite. I definitely like If I Only. I wrote that one last summer, actually. That one I think hits pretty hard with not a lot. So yeah, I guess that might be one of my favorites lyrically, just because it really packs a punch, I think, anyway. You can let me know. But I think it packs a punch with not that many words or not very complicated structures, which was kind of the goal. I wanted it to be very very broadly applicable to people. I guess if I had to pick a favorite line, this kind of only makes sense in context, but my favorite line of that one, in terms of just like impact, is probably "You'll never know you're all I think about." And again, that'll make more sense in the context of the song, but it's basically this idea of like you are wildly in love with somebody and just way too shy to say anything, and you kind of freeze up every time you are near them, every time you're in their presence, and so you're kind of in this box where you know exactly how you feel. You wish you could tell this person, and yet there's just a barrier that you can't seem to get past. And so it's in the second pre-chorus, or I guess the third pre-chorus technically. It adds that little line. That actually only that line only happens once in the song. And for me, it's just like it takes that already super raw, like just feeling of being trapped, and it really just hammers it home. So yeah, tough call. Tough to say my single favorite line, but that's got to be a contender. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Patrick, what's my favorite note? Well, I don't think I have a favorite note. There are certain notes that I enjoy singing. There are a lot of E4s. I like that note. It's nice. In the morning, I love C2s. Those are fun. Nice and low. Ooh, this is okay. Patrick wants to know if I can give you a lyrical breakdown of Boy Who Cried Wolf. Felt very emotional. It is very emotional. Yes. So, yeah, let's do it. I actually have the lyrics, so I can remember what I wrote. No, so yeah, Boy Who Cried Wolf. This was a really, really fun one to write. It's sort of one of there are a few tunes on the album that kind of do this, where it's like a reasonably sad message, or like at least a heavy message, kind of disguised almost in a very happy, upbeat package. When you get to this in the album tonight, the tune Never Be is exactly like that. It's super, super heavy, but like if you're not listening to the lyrics, it's like, oh, it's so happy. And my thinking behind that is, when you're going through a lot emotionally, usually you don't just wear that on your sleeve. Very often you kind of put on a fake smile, and you don't really want everyone in the world to know the pain that you're going through. And so I really felt that if I was writing a sad song lyrically and I set it to very sad music, that would be a little bit, I don't want to say obvious, but it would miss out on a lot of depth that I could convey by instead writing very sad lyrics to a very happy sounding song, because then you kind of get this metaphorical like fake smile idea where like you're going through a lot, but the world doesn't really know, which in my opinion makes that a lot heavier, like a lot bigger of an emotion. So I'm going to kind of blitz through this a little bit. So Boy Who Cried Wolf, first verse: hey, if you're wondering why I can't keep my old story about you straight, then there's something I should tell you. Sure as hell I'll find a way. And I'm sorry for these feelings in disguise, but you've got to know you're all I see when I close my eyes. So this is sort of like, for whatever reason, there's this person in your life that you're just crazy about. And maybe you think that, and we'll kind of get to this in the second verse, but you might think that like you don't want to mess up what you already have, and you're not sure if it's going to work. And so it's this struggle between what you ideally would like to experience. Like you want to be with this person, but it feels like there are a lot of dangers in taking that risk. And so Boy Who Cried Wolf is sort of like the musical way of saying, hey, look, I know that I've played the whole friend game for a while now, and it seemed like I could keep that up, but I really can't. So, the whole Boy Who Cried Wolf story, as I'm sure many of you know, is this boy who continually told his village that there was a wolf, and there never was. He was just doing it as a prank. And so when there finally was a wolf and he cried wolf, nobody believed him, because he had no credibility. And so that was sort of what I was trying to capture, that same idea of like, I know you've always thought of me as a friend because that's what I've always said, but like, that's not really how it works. So yeah, that's kind of what the chorus sort of sums that up. The whole "call me the boy who cried wolf, but this time it's real. I know how I feel. I'm head over heels," etc. For the first time in ages, I'm turning the pages of my future today, just waiting on you. That one's maybe a little bit less obvious, or less apparent, I guess. Turning the pages, it's basically just like you finally realize that this is something you have to say, and what kind of felt like this impossible barrier before, at least there's now a chance that something will happen. And so you're kind of playing it through in your mind, like, oh, what would it be like to be with this person? But of course, that's all contingent on whether or not they also want to be with you. So that's the whole just waiting on you thing. Yeah, tired of hiding the fire inside me, quietly crying wolf for you. Yeah, so I mean, again, speaking about my lyrical goal of trying to say as much in as few words as possible, there's something about the words quietly crying that just like that said, those two words alone just say so much in my opinion. So yeah, I tried to make that chorus pretty dense. And then the second verse, hey, well, I know that I've been silent. It's high time that I explain. Didn't want to lose your presence, so a friendship it remained. But I can't keep pulling punches, building walls. I want you to know I'm going to give this love my all. So kind of similar to what I mentioned before, with the little added twist at the end that even though you know it's a risk and it might not work out, you can't just keep going on behind this facade. And if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. So like, however it turns out, you're really going to give it your best and love this person. Yeah, so that's pretty much how that one works. Yeah, thank you. That was a great question. Very fun to listen to. I appreciate that. I was, if I may be so bold, I was really happy with how Boy You Cried Wolf turned out. That was a super fun one to throw together. Yo, hi Rachel and Ellen. Yay, they're having a Zoom party. That's fantastic. Yeah, so that's a great question. We're getting real close to the drop. I am going to, as promised, get something to juggle. Zach, if you are, Zach, if you're here and you want to hop on the Instagram call, we can take a few questions because, as I mentioned before, Zach and I co-produced this, so we had kind of a basic workflow for a lot of the tunes, and we fudged it on a few just for fun. So for the most part, I wrote all the tunes. These are all my songs, but for the most part, I produced them. So I would like record parts and then send the parts to Zach, and then Zach would mix them. So he would like set levels for everything, equalize everything, apply lots of plugins and whatnot to make everything sound pretty. And he also mastered everything, which basically just means making it louder. And he can explain that better than I can because he's going live very soon. It's exciting. Also, the album is going live very soon. Jeez. Hello.
What's good?
Hi. Okay, so here is Zach. You can ask him questions about the technical things. Am I planning on more music in the future? Yes. Also, I'm going to get things to juggle. YouTube people, stay right there. Well, so Zach, you want to just talk them through a little bit of kind of how we, I mean, I started saying it, but how we partition the workflow, how we actually did this thing?
It's on Instagram. Sorry, Chuck. Oh, Chuck, the reason why it's too quiet on YouTube is because I'm on his Instagram on his phone.
Okay, hold on. I'm back. So there was a request for me to juggle something, so I had to go get juggling implements. We're good now.
I can chat while you juggle if that would help.
Okay.
Yeah. So for some of them, I was just mixing it. So Andrew did everything on the creative side, so to speak, and I would kind of just take what he had given me. He'd send me each track as an audio file, and I would just make it sound as good as I could. And for some of them, he would just send me, there were a couple where he just sent me like him playing guitar and him singing, and then it was just like, go nuts. So those tunes were Never Be and Before You Ever Start. So yeah, it was a good time all around. Let's see if there are any other questions. Juggle King, yes. FL Studio versus Pro Tools.
Ooh. Man, the questions of religion have appeared.
Yeah, I'm a born and bred Pro Tools user, so I would probably cry if someone made me try to use anything else for mixing, at least.
Yeah, so just so everybody understands this, right? I had never used Pro Tools, not really, never on my own. So before this summer, I had recorded a few things with Zach in Boston, which required me engineering the session. I say engineering the session, I mean, I was like a trained monkey. Zach was telling me what to do. So basically, this summer was like me trying to learn how to use all of this stuff and continuously sending Zach frantic messages because there was some error that I didn't understand. that includes up to the final night of mixing before we had imposed this deadline. I was almost done. It was one of the 2 tunes that I was mixing, and I was like, Zach, what the heck is going on? Like something's whack. I don't know what's going on. And so, you know, it was a very fitting end that we completed the mixing stage with a panicky last minute technical question. Also, I have just been informed, or my clock has informed me, that it is now time. So, connection is a little suspicious. Can folks still hear me on Instagram? Uh-oh. Oh no. Okay, can people hear me on Instagram? Okay, it looks like it's live. So I'm gonna end it here. Yeah, thank you all so much for being here. This was. Can we listen to Daffodil on stream? We'll yeah, Zach, just let me. Or sorry, Zach, Patrick, let me know what you think of Daffodil. Let's see. All right, yeah, I think I'm gonna end this here. Thank you all so much for joining me for this little countdown. It flew by faster than I was expecting. And yeah, thank you all so much for your support with the pre-releases. I got so many wonderful messages from people just saying that they'd really enjoyed them, and yeah, it's that means so much to me because, you know, like I would be happy. I would feel good about this if I were just like releasing it out into the void, but like it's so much better having people that are actually listening to it. So thank you all so much. Yeah, I think Instagram is being suspicious. So yeah, without further ado, go enjoy Heartache. What else? Thanks. Oh, wait. Allison has a question. Okay, I'll take this final question because it's my aunt. So yeah, nepotism. What's the question? We want to listen. Okay. That is a good question. So, and Allison wants to know if music comes before lyrics. So it really depends. In an ideal world, I believe I would write all my lyrics first, because the constraint of having to fit lyrics into something musically that you've already written is very difficult. And oftentimes you kind of sacrifice the poetry of it a little bit. However, in practice, I usually write them kind of at the same time. So I'll have little ideas that are like lyrics and music, or maybe a little bit of music that needs lyrics, or vice versa. So yeah, I think ideally I would try to do lyrics first, but in practice it usually doesn't actually play out like that. Okay, now for real, I think it is time to go listen to this thing. Thank you all so much for the congratulations and for joining me in this little slice of internet. Hope you all enjoy. This has been a fantastic experience. So yeah, peace. Stay safe, everybody.